Hello everyone, I'm Professor Midnight and I welcome you to our first MAGIZOOLOGY class. Yes, I know that the technically correct name is Cryptozoology, but since J.K. Rowling's magical world is one of my passions, I prefer to consider myself a magizoologist. In our world, there are some animals considered the dragons of real life, such as the lizards that can glide, some seahorse species, and of course the Komodo dragon. Nevertheless, dragons in their most purely fantastic connotation have been part of mankind's folklore from millenary times. And while, at least that we know of, there are no proofs of their existence, we can try to understand them a little better. We know that when it comes to mythological beings, it's not possible to do an exact sorting. Nonetheless, dragons share many characteristics with animals known to men, which can allow us to make at least an approximate taxonomic classification for them. Before going any further, we should clarify what a taxon is. In biology, it is defined as a group of organisms that have been grouped together due to common characteristics. On the other side, it would be wise to make a couple warnings. Warning number 1. Due to the complexity of classifying living beings according to physical traits, taxons have subdivisions to group everyone in more specific ways. Warning number 2. It's possible that this video may sound like a documentary, but believe me, I'm not trying to compete with National Geographic. Thing is, we are analyzing the taxonomy of an animal, mythical, but still an animal. And in order to do this right, we are going to have to use science, at least to some extent. Third and last warning, some of the names we will encounter here are in Latin, so don't get scared if you don't understand a few. Relax, Professor Midnight will explain everything. Maybe now, maybe in the extraordinary test. Okay, after this cultural compendium, let's get to work. We shall start from the widest group to the narrowest. Domain. This big taxon divides living beings according to their cellular composition. Dragon's domain is Eukarya, since they are formed by cells with a real nucleus. If they didn't have this last one, they would look like this. Kingdom. Dragons belong to Animalia kingdom because they do nutrition, relationship, and reproduction functions. Also, they have other necessary traits to belong to this kingdom, such as being multicellular, unlike bacteria and other beings that are formed only by one cell, needing to eat other organisms to gather the nutrients they require, doing a gas exchange when breathing, and possessing a sensorial system. This last one, as in many animals, is concentrated in the head area, except for the skin that covers the whole body.
Professor Midnight, I received a report that your dragon burned one of the students.
Well, Mr. Principal, Denise interrupted my class. Phylum. This taxon divides animals according to the organization of their organs and systems, the symmetry of their bodies, and the number of segments and extremities they have. Dragon's phylum is Vertebrata because they have a skeleton formed by a cranium which protects the brain, and a spine that is the support of the body. Their bodies are divided in 3 segments that are head, trunk, and tail, and trunk is also divided in thorax and abdomen. Superclass. Having 4 legs, dragons belong to the superclass Tetrapod, which includes all the animals with 4 extremities. Class. It's in this taxon where the animals related to dragons start to get much more delimited, and therefore we will start to find many more characteristics in common. So if anyone needs to use the bathroom, this would be a good time to ask for your pass. Dragons belong to the Reptilia class, which includes the tetrapods that can create a watery environment inside the egg in their embryonic phase. This allows the oviparous reproduction in a terrestrial and dry environment. Besides this, dragons have the following characteristics in common with reptiles. They are poikilothermic, which means that in order to regulate their inner temperature, they depend on the sunlight they gather. To get warmer, they lie down the sun all day or remain underwater during night, while to cool down, they move to the shadow, swim, or shelter in subterranean dens. Their circulatory system has a double circuit, where one tract gathers blood from the lungs and the other one from the rest of the body. They have an excretory system that keeps their body from dehydrating. The water dragons have no problem urinating ammonia due to their large water ingest. But since earth dragons drink less water, they have to transform ammonia into uric acid that is less toxic. They breathe through a pair of porous lungs, unlike the amphibians that do it through their skin. Their response system includes complex eyes that can perceive colors right, an excellent smelling sense, and simple ears. Their spine allows them to do most of their movements, although it's also thanks to their extremities that they can creep, crawl, swim, or fly. They are oviparous and reproduce by inner fertilization. This means that the sperm and the ovule join inside the female's body. Yes, dragons penetrate dragonesses. Can we take it naturally? After this, the female covers the embryos with several membranes and a shell forming the eggs. Their digestive system allows them to digest animal matter, either raw, roasted after incinerating it, or boiled with hot steam in the marine dragon case. The diet of these creatures varies depending on their surroundings, but what is a constant is that all of them are carnivorous and tend to chase their prey with their jaws using all their strength. Nonetheless, we should clarify that dragons in general are respectful with their similars, and although sometimes they fight for territory, they do not eat each other, let alone their eggs. Hey, you, leave that cell phone!
But teacher...
But nothing, don't get distracted because we're in the middle of the class. Subclass. Dragons enter in Lepidosauria subclass because they have overlapping scales. This means they are disposed similarly to tiles in a roof and are thick in the part that is closest to the body and narrow in the tip that's mounted over the next scale. Order. They belong to Squamata order because they present scales covering all their bodies, scales that, by the way, they periodically move. They also have reduced extremities and a cranium that, due to its configuration, allows a wider jaw opening, making it easier for them to swallow their prey. Suborder. Their suborder is Scleroglossa, from Greek words skleros, which means heart, and glossa, that means tongue. The functions of dragons' tongues are purely sensorial and chemical, because since they have teeth, they do not need a muscular tongue to anchor their prey like iguanian lizards. Hey, dragon, not lizard! I don't do that tongue thing! Infraorder. Dragons would be Angymorpha because they have osteoderms. For the ones that are thinking, what the hell is she talking about? Osteoderms basically are bony plates that are located under the scales, and they give the animal a shielded appearance. Family. Each one groups the genuses that are related by a common ancestor. If you don't know what genus means, don't worry, we will find out soon. They are part of the Varanidae family, which contains the big lizards with a small head, large neck, thick body and legs, and last but not least, a large and strong tail. Hey, stop eating in class! Since this is salmon, I think I'll confiscate it. Genus. This reduced taxon is considered a group of animals that share both a distinctive common ancestor and a similar evolution and adaptation. The genus of these majestic animals is Draconis, Latin word from where the name dragon actually comes from. Draconis is a term used to designate a mythical animal, although it is also the name of a plant that's called like this due to its flowers that look like a dragon's head. Species. We finally have reached the basic unit of taxonomy. The main requirement for animals to belong to the same species is for them to be able to reproduce with each other and have a fertile descendants. In this case, it's as simple as dragon. However, there are a lot of dragon races and variations due to factors like their colors, habitat, or elements. But we will be talking about those in the next videos. And with this we conclude our first dragons class exploring their taxonomy. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button so we keep creating contents like this. Remember also to click the bell because dragons are really excited to share so much about them with you. And if you don't activate notifications and miss our next video, well...
That's him, the man who broke a dragon's heart.
Professor Midnight loves you and hopes to see you next time. I take these last moments to give special thanks to Professor Darío Ibarra because without his help, it would have been impossible to develop this theory. Alright everyone, class is over now, you may go to recess.